Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Prolific Creator Podcast. My name is Javier Torres, and today I have a special treat for you guys because I am interviewing a lady that is a singer and an actress in the southeastern Wisconsin area. Her name is Jordyn Lander, and interviewing her was a lot of fun. I was nervous, though. I was nervous because this was my first real interview. And like I mentioned on episode 1, or I think I mentioned it, I've never done interviews, so I didn't know what to expect. Listening to what I recorded later, I was like, oh, I should have asked this, or I should have said this and whatnot. But again, this is something that I'm sure I will get better at eventually. Jordyn, she's very talented, and I'm sure she's gonna do some awesome stuff, and I'm sure she's gonna be back on the podcast at some point. So hopefully by then I'll be much better. But I was so glad to be able to sit down with her and talk. We got to talk about all kinds of stuff. We talked about the people that helped her out in like growing up and getting into the music and singing. She does a lot more singing, although apparently, she also does acting. I didn't even know about the acting. I just knew about the singing. But yeah, we talked about musicals that she has done, performing in front of others, because that's something that for me is always very difficult. I'm like, I hate having all that attention in front of me. But then at the same time, when I'm vlogging with my camera, I'm okay. So, that's always kind of fun. We talked about some of the proud moments, that you have when you're doing this type of artistic live. You have your sucky moments, but you also have a lot of proud moments. And, there's also all the self-criticism. And, I wanted to know if it's just me or if this kind of happens to everybody. But yeah, apparently it does happen to other people. We talked about what we call singers versus singing. All those autotunes that's out there, that people that are known for singing, but they're not really singers. So it was a really fun interview, and I just really want to share it with you guys. So up ahead, it's going to be the interview. I really hope that you guys enjoy it. In the description of the podcast, you will see, her Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube links. So please feel free to go check them out. Like I said, she has a beautiful voice. I absolutely love her voice, and I nothing but good luck to her, because I really hope that I really hope to hear more from her. So anyway, here I will leave you guys with the interview, and then I'll be back after the interview. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Prolific Creator Podcast. Today we have a good one, and I know that I promised that on the last one, and it probably sucked. No, I'm kidding. But it really is a good one today. With me, I have Jordyn Lander, who I'm going to ask her to introduce herself to people. Like, what do you do? Who are you? What do you do? Where are you from? Stuff like that.
Okay. So my name is Jordyn. I'm from Kenosha. I'm 23. And I am a singer and an actress, and that's
see. I know the singer part. I didn't know about the actress part. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to get into that.
Yeah.
So you're from Kenosha. Were you raised in Kenosha, or are you like a Wisconsin person, or?
Yeah. Well, kind of. I was born in Skokie, but we moved to Kenosha when I was 2.
Basically, are you a Packers fan?
No, not at all.
All right, well, this was a great episode. No, I'm kidding. All right. No issue. That's Kenosha's very much in the border, so it's okay. You guys get a pass. Yeah. I grew up in Milwaukee, so okay. I didn't get a pass. I had to.
Yeah, we're pretty much, Kenosha's pretty much half and half between Bear Packer and also Cubs Brewers. So.
Okay. Awesome. So are you Bears?
I'm Bears.
Oh, God. Oh, no, that's okay.
Bears, Saints, and Seahawks, actually.
So, you like singing. That's basically what we're mostly going to be talking about. How did that start? Like at what age? How?
I've pretty much been singing since I could talk. It's kind of just I've always had that passion. I don't know, it's just something I really like to do, and I'm hoping to maybe make a career out of it at some point.
What was there a specific point where you were like, you know what? I'm kind of better than most people at this, because a lot of people sing. I like to sing. I wouldn't go sing in front of people.
When I was in third grade, I had this really awesome choir teacher, Dr. Armetta, and she really she took my passion for music to a new level. She loved to to interact with us and have us see how fun music is and how much it can impact our lives. Okay. So my passion really started when I was in third grade, and I thank Dr. Armetta for it every day.
Okay. So were there any like any singers that really influenced you, especially at such a young age?
Yeah, I didn't really have any inspirations. I still don't really have. I mean, I like people. When I was younger, I listened to a lot of rock. I listened to My Chemical Romance was a big one.
Okay.
But I listened to a lot of pop punk, rock, all that jazz, and then that never really left. But as I got older, I started listening to more pop type of music, and then eventually Broadway and movie soundtracks and all kinds of crazy things.
Is there a specific type of music that you like singing, or?
I really love Broadway. It is, yeah. That is one of my biggest. That's the biggest thing in my repertoire is a lot of Broadway.
Okay. Now, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about is stuff that you're currently working on. You have mentioned, what was it? Somewhere in Kenosha.
Lakeside Players.
Lakeside, yes. Mm-hmm. Could we elaborate on that? Like, what is that? Because I'm fairly new to the area, so for me, oddly enough, like I always know about Racine and Kenosha, but growing up in Milwaukee, those are just names. It's just places that you pass by on your way to Chicago.
That's kind of how it is for me in Milwaukee. I mean,
so when I actually moved to the area, I was like, wait, there's actually kind of cool stuff going on
over here.
Like I didn't like Racine, for example. Right now, there's a lot of artsy type of stuff going on. I was just talking to some people from a open mic the other day, and they're talking about all this stuff that is happening. And I'm on this Facebook group, something What's Up Racine or something with Racine, and they're always having all these little events, and I'm like, this is pretty cool. Like I didn't even know.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how much culture is in Racine and Kenosha, in this whole area, this whole section of Wisconsin. There's a lot of art around here. But yeah, so Lakeside Players is a theater company out of the Rhodey Center for the Arts. That's where they do all their stuff. And we do usually one musical a year, maybe two if there's a kids production.
Okay.
But I was just in Rent in January. And then I did what's called a straight show. So it's not a musical. It's pretty much it's just all dialogue. And that was Sin, Sex, and the CIA. And I'm currently stage managing for a show called The Comedy of Romeo and Juliet, Kinda Sorta.
Kinda Sorta.
Yeah. And it's a really cool show. But yeah, so it's they do a lot of different, types of genres of shows. Right now they're doing Rocky Horror, so that's really cool. But.
All right. So is acting going to take over at some point?
I don't know. I don't think so, because music is in my blood. It's what I do. I sing. That's what I'm like. Everybody is like, if they can hear someone singing, they're usually like, "Oh, it's Jordyn." That's cool.
Now you like you mentioned you've been singing since you were very little, so you probably got used early to being in front of people singing, or was there a point where this was your first performance and you were like, oh crap? Like,
no, I mean, as far as like, I used to sing in front of family all the time. Like, there's a video that my aunt has of me singing Sisters from White Christmas. And I remember what I was wearing. I remember the exact dance. I remember everything about it. And that's the first time I can really remember performing in front of people. But I mean, I sing in front of my parents. I sing in front of all kinds of, family members, friends. But I remember the first time really like performing in front of an audience that wasn't my family was in 3rd grade. I had a solo for some Polar Express song that we were singing. And yeah, I was incredibly nervous. I was so nervous. I still get really nervous when I perform. It's weird. I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, like in my case, yeah, I always sang at church, but it's odd because I can't go to the church and talk to people. Like just stand there and talk. I can't do that, but I can go and sing for whatever reason. Like, but even then, I have to close my eyes when I'm singing. Like, if I don't see them, they're not there.
Hey, I do the same thing.
I do remember one time, our church band was actually doing pretty good in Milwaukee, in our little area. Okay, and we actually went to this high school thing. It was an event. I mean, I was in the high school. It was my high school, but there was an event, and they actually invited our church group to sing. And I'm like, wait, you want me to go to the? so like that was definitely an experience for me. Like,
yeah.
But the good thing is, once you were up there, the lights kind of blind you anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it worked out. It worked out for me.
Yeah.
So just like, you tend to have those moments that are full of fear.
Yeah.
There are usually sometimes those, well, hopefully more than sometimes, those moments where you feel really, really proud of something that you were able to accomplish.
Definitely.
What would you say was one or a few of those moments that you were like, oh my God, I can't believe I got to do this?
Well, okay, so the biggest one for me, I was a sophomore in high school, and Kenosha does this huge thing called Choral Fest, where there's literally 1,200 kids in a field house, in Bradford Field House, which is a high school, and all their parents. There's like maybe 3,000 people in the field house.
Okay.
Total. And, we sing a bunch of group songs, and then all the schools sing songs individually, and it's a really great thing to experience just in general. But I had my first ever solo in high school was singing a song called Loch Lomond, which is a Scottish tune. Okay. And singing in front of like 3,000 people, I got done and I was like, I can't believe I just did that. I cannot believe that actually happened. And I was so proud because I worked really hard for it. And I didn't even think I was going to get the solo in the first place.
And there's that moment right after you're done singing where you're like, are people going to applaud her?
Yep, there was a second. And I think, you know, it was really cool because I also got a standing ovation, and that was my first standing ovation. And I was like, I don't even know what's going on here. I don't know what's happening.
No. Yeah, that's... yeah, again, I'm not sure that I could do that. I would be freaking out. Like,
I was terrified.
but yeah, that is one of the things. It's interesting because a lot of times, like I tell myself, like, oh, I would never be able to do that. But then, like when I started vlogging, for example, I'm like, oh, I can't go with a camera in front of people. You know, talking to a camera while everybody's looking at you. But then. You know, years later, I'm like walking down the airport, just talking to a little camera. I'm like, I don't care. Like,
you just get used to it.
Yeah,
and
so,
if people say something, people say something.
It's so yeah. For me, it's very interesting because I'm like, there are so many things that I'm like, no, I would never do that. But then you do it, then it's okay. You know?
Yeah. Once you get over that initial fear, then it's just like, all right, I can do this. I got this.
So. Do you write by any chance?
I write stories. I cannot write music for the life of me. And
really?
It's so weird because I have no problem memorizing and like rehearsing and just going over songs and lyrics for hours. But when it comes to actually writing my own, I'm not good. Not good.
Is it because they're not good, or are you just extremely critical of yourself?
You know, neither, because I just can't, like, I can't get the flow of a song. I can write poems once in a while when I get a very strong inspiration for it. Like, if I'm laying in bed and I'm like, okay, I have this line in my head, just this like word or this one phrase that I really want to write down, and then I'll start elaborating on it, and then I'll write it down, and it becomes like a couple line poem. But then I'm like, you know, I don't even know if this is good, but I'm gonna write it down anyway because this is what's coming out of my head at midnight.
Yeah.
I can't write songs though.
No, I was just asking because, you know, sometimes we can be extremely critical of ourselves. And maybe you do this with your own singing. Maybe you're like, oh, I was horrible. But then people are like, what are you talking about?
Oh, every time.
Like I tend to do that a lot with my photography. I take pictures. People love my pictures. But I'm like, no, it's crap. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's horrible. It could have been better. Like,
oh, I do that all the time. When I sang for the showcase after I won Kenosha's Got Talent, I listened to the recordings that both my parents had taken, and I was like, who told you this was good? But hey,
yeah, that's the worst. Watching the video, you're like, oh, why did I do that? Like, I could have. There's a lot of I could have. Yeah, well, you didn't, and it was good.
Yeah.
So, the future plans. What does Jordyn plan on doing?
You know, I would absolutely love to make a career out of singing. Mm-hmm. I do think, however, that there is so many singers in the world that, like, and that's probably me being super critical of myself. But, you know,
there's a lot of people singing in the world. There's not a lot of singers in the world.
That's true too. That's true too. Yeah, but
and they're out there doing it. So
yeah, I'm hoping to make a career out of it eventually at some point.
At some point.
Yeah.
going back to to the singers versus singing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like technology has made it more difficult for singers, or has it? And I'm mostly talking about autotunes here because there's a lot of people out there who just, you go on the computer, you fix up their voice, and then throw them out, and they do a one-hit song, and that's it. You never hear from them again.
I definitely think that autotune should not be a thing. I think that if it's like getting a promotion at work. If you put in the work and you work hard enough, then you deserve that promotion. But if you're not putting in the work and you're kind of, glossing over the stuff that you're supposed to be doing, but they still are like, whatever, then they give you the promotion. You didn't earn it. And
it's like me creating a macro at work that does everything, and then I'm like, no, the work is being done. Like, promote me.
Hey.
I don't need to do anything else because the computer's doing it.
Yeah.
No, like they're just gonna tell me, no, now here's all this other stuff you can do.
Yeah, that's my thing with singers is if you need to have autotune to sound good, you shouldn't be doing it. And I have a philosophy that everybody can sing. Everybody. You have vocal cords, they work, unless
you haven't heard my brother, but
don't.
Whatever.
But it takes work. It really does. When I was little, I didn't know how to sing. I didn't know the correct way to sing. Sure, I might have, had a pretty voice and I was cute. I was a kid. But it took me a really long time all throughout high school, throughout starting in 7th grade, I got a vocal coach, and all throughout high school, that's 6 years of work that I put into my craft. That's 6 years of hard work that didn't come easy. Maybe I have a good voice, but I work at it every day. And there's times when I'm like, I just don't have it today. I just don't, something about it. My pitch is off. My tone is off. Something about it is just not working. And it takes a lot of hard work and dedication, just like anything else that any hobby, any job, anything takes hard work. And I believe that if you try hard enough and if you work at it enough, then you could, accomplish it, and you can accomplish that solo that you had in choir. Like, if you work hard enough at it, you'll get it and you'll do great.
Yeah.
So
that's why a lot of these auto-tune artists, you see them on the street, you want them to sing, they can't. They go to a concert, it has to be all pre-recorded because they just can't. And a lot of times it's because they're either hot or they have a really good attitude, which is great, but a really good personality, fun, whatever, and that's awesome. But if you can't sing,
now rappers are different. Rappers are just fast talkers. So they can have all the auto-tune they want. But, like singers, and it's also kind of a slap in the face, I think, for people who do have the talent.
Correct.
And who do work hard at it. Because, people like me who work really hard to do what I do, then I see all these people who are just auto-tuned, who don't work at it, who don't try. They're like, oh, I'm gonna sing however I want to sing, and the producers will make me good.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, come on, like, give us a chance to do what we want to do and prove to the world that we can do it.
Now, so technology can be bad sometimes. What about the accessibility that it has given a lot of other people to basically like my friend Ekis, who is able to produce music from his little home studio.
Yeah.
And you're able to like put it out there.
Yeah. Like Justin Bieber. I might not like his music, but That
Probably uses Autotune. No.
when he was what, 13, he got discovered on YouTube.
Yeah. Like,
By Usher. Like, come on. Technology has it, like you said, it's good and it's bad.
Yeah.
There's so many platforms that we can discover new music, new movies, new shows, new books, everything. And it's great. It's awesome. It's so cool. I love living in this era of technology because it's so awesome.
just the fact that, like I said, you can for like a few $100 you can create a recording studio.
Yeah.
Right. Like right now, we're in my dining room, creating this podcast. It's gonna be available to anybody in the world.
Exactly.
So
it's so cool, and it gives the little people a chance to do what they want in their life. It's
Correct.
awesome.
And I was gonna say, like, growing up, half of like my first 10 years of life, I grew up in Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
My family very Puerto Rican. So growing up, every singer I ever heard was Spanish. People, obviously I would listen to English music on movies and TV shows and whatever, but I never knew who was anybody. So, thanks to things like YouTube, though, I tend to, most of the artists that I actually know and follow, they're people that I originally heard from on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I think it's awesome that people like Lindsay Sterling, she just started making videos on YouTube. And she started making all these nerdy videos. I don't know if you ever seen them.
The Phantom of the Opera one is my favorite.
Yeah, for me, I loved the Zelda one.
Yes.
That was my first video from her. And to see her progress, also my friend Alicia Popat, she actually has been really working on her craft in Kenya. Mm-hmm. But I discovered her through the Lindsay Sterling video. She's the singer on the video that she did in Africa.
Oh, cool.
So, and we have developed a friendship, and it's weird because I just found her on that video. I thought she was really good, so I searched for her name, and then I was like, let me check Twitter, see if she's there. She was there. She only had a couple of thousand followers. I sent her a message. She replied back.
Yeah.
And ever since then, we've kind of had this little relationship going on, friendship. So it's pretty amazing, the fact that you're able to do that. And I have seen her. She has a beautiful voice, and I have seen her struggle. And indeed, it goes back to the fact that it's upsetting when you see so many others getting those chances, but then the people that have been trying really hard. But she'll continue trying. I know her. So any plans for any recordings, or are there I know a lot of singers use like SoundCloud to put up stuff that they've done, or YouTube, or any of that already out there, or planning on it? Or
nothing original. I have a channel on YouTube that I haven't posted to in years, but there's some good songs and there's some not good.
Okay.
Some a cappella, some with music.
Some gangster rap. So, no.
I could. I'm pretty good at Eminem.
Eminem, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Hidden talent. I can rap Eminem.
We might have to get a piece of that.
I don't know.
Specific, this podcast, one of the ideas is to point out specific struggles that people are going through, or have been going through, or have gone through. Because my hope is that eventually there will be a large enough community that is able to help each other. So, I was wondering if there were any struggles that you're currently going through, or have gone through, and how you might have gone past them in the whole trying to sing thing?
So a lot of times when I'm performing, and it happened at the Kenosha's Got Talent finals, and it happened at the showcase, where I will spend months memorizing something, and the minute something goes wrong, something minute, like they played the wrong song at the beginning of my piece for the showcase, and I forgot the entire middle of my song. So I was standing there and I was just like, so I don't know what I'm supposed to say or do right now, so I'm just gonna fake it till I make it. And I kind of mumbled. I was like,
that's when you let the crowd
yeah, like shout. I'd like put in words and be like, stop, like try to get it back. And I mean, I got it back, but you know, that happens.
I was just reminded of a story from another friend of mine, Ruling, in Milwaukee. He did a performance at, I think it was Mexican Fiesta. Mm-hmm. When he started, you know, when it was his time, the sound just went out.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, I can only imagine. You ever had anything like that happen?
Yep. It's horrible. Luckily, though, because I'm an actor, I have trained my voice to just kind of project naturally.
Okay.
It's a problem when I'm in a restaurant and I'm talking about something and my parents are always like, shh, you're being so loud. I'm like, I'm sorry. I want to speak to everybody here, apparently.
This is how I talk.
Yeah. I'm just yelling. Yeah.
All right. So now we've come to a section that I call weird questions.
Okay.
Or, you know, they're just stupid little questions to kind of have fun with.
I'm down for stupid questions.
just to see where we go with them. First, are you familiar with Doctor Who?
Yes, but I never really got into it. Like, it wasn't...
That wasn't the question, by the way. that one doesn't count. But are you familiar with a TARDIS?
Yes.
Okay, the fact that it can travel through time and space.
Yeah.
Let's say that you were to find a TARDIS.
Okay.
And somehow, I don't know how, you know how to use it. So you could go anywhere in time and space. Would you go somewhere? And if so, where?
Oh, snap. There's so many places I would go, honestly. Yes, I for sure would use it. I think I would probably... Oh, man, I don't know. There's a lot of places that I would go. Like, I'd go back to, like, the Victorian era.
Okay.
Just because I like the way they dress. I'd go back to the 50s.
Just don't go buy a dress.
Yeah. I could just go and I could dress however I want. Like, I wouldn't be weird if I dressed like that. So, and then, like, I'd go back to the 50s because, again, I love the way they dress. Everybody was all the women were just so nicely, like, there were no sweatpants. There were no, like, crappy clothes. It was, you dressed your best on a daily basis.
Yeah, well, that's gotta be time consuming.
Oh, you know what, though? I spend an hour on my makeup a day. I think I can handle it.
Okay. So it's interesting. Would you consider going to the future at all?
Yeah. I would love to see just like, you know, not even like 100 years in the future, but maybe 10, 15 years. I want to see what my life is like in 10 or 15 years. I want to see if I got my crap together enough to actually survive the world.
See, I'm always afraid of going to the future because I'm like, what if I get there and it's not there?
That is that's a very valid fear, honestly.
So I'm also afraid of going to the past because I'm like, I'm not in shape. Just about everything you get. Like, if I go to see the dinosaurs, I'm not gonna outrun any of them. So
hey, I wouldn't either.
But yeah, I always say I would probably just go to the last big lottery and cheat, but but then I would destroy the TARDIS, making sure that nobody ever finds it.
Yeah.
So that they don't know that I cheated.
Right.
So it will be a one-time use.
Right.
Because every movie
Yeah.
with time machines have taught me that if you do it too many times, you're going to destroy the world. So
Yeah. Right.
all right. Second question. So let's say you won $10 million and you have managed somehow to keep it from everybody, like nobody knows, just you. And now, I don't know how this works because I've never won $10 million.
Yeah.
But it's now in your bank account, like all of a sudden, like it's there. What would be the very first thing that you would do? And like a lot of times people are like, oh, I would buy this, whatever. But I'm looking for the very first thing that you would do.
This is 100% the truth. It's gonna sound so like kiss-assy, but I would pay off my parents' house and buy them a new one.
Okay.
And it's just because they deserve it. They've put up with me for 23 years. They deserve it. They deserve a new house.
See, I would get them a house, but I will have to go to Best Buy first.
Like,
I'm afraid that would be like the very first thing that I do. I would just go to Best Buy. I would probably call my friend Ekis and I'd be like, hey, you want to go to Best Buy?
Yeah.
I just got a bunch of money.
Maybe upgrade my phone. I don't know. No, I would definitely, the first thing I would do would be buy them a house, and then I'd worry about me and pay off all my debt that I have from school and my car and all that jazz.
Okay. All right. So last question. This might be a difficult one, or it might be a simple one. Somehow you acquire the ability to cure one thing. Anything in the world, but just one thing. What would that one be?
Ooh. A lot of people would say like cancer or some kind of disease. I would say homelessness. It's not that you can't. I mean, you can cure that. You can.
You can, I guess.
You can build. You can build houses, and that's what I would do if I could cure it. I would just build a bunch of houses and be like, hey guys, here you can live here, get back on your feet, do what you need to do to fix yourself and your situation, and help yourself and help your situation.
Okay. See, that's much better than my answer, because I wasn't going to go with cancer either, although I should have. But I was going to go with allergies, just because allergies, I hate allergies.
Oh, they're the worst.
And they... it affects so many people.
Yeah.
But so does cancer. So I'm a horrible person probably. But,
no.
But I know this. I had this friend that lives out in the West where there's nothing, because of her allergies. Like she's allergic to so many things that she can't live in other areas of the world. So. And she might be living in a bubble for all I know. Or maybe she has to.
Yeah.
So, yeah. This has been a fun chat. Now, I wanted to ask one last thing. Any advice that you want to give to people that might be thinking, oh, I really like singing, but, maybe I'm not good enough, or... maybe it's just crazy to even think that I should even try it.
I struggled with that for a really long time. I myself I've struggled with a lot of self-confidence issues, and whether it be body image, the way my voice sounds, all kinds of stuff. But I think the biggest thing to remember is that even if you don't think you have what it takes or the talent, or, you know, if you think you completely suck, remember that there's somebody out there who will listen and who will be willing to help if you need it, who will be willing to give you whatever you need to succeed in whatever you want to do. And, you know, I got that chance, and I think that's a big thing to remember. Because, you know, when I was a kid, I was like, I'm not good, and I can't do this. But then, you know, I had a teacher who was like, who pretty much in third grader terms said, like, shut up, you're good. Let me help you. I'll make you, like, realize your talent. And she did. And I never looked back, you know?
Okay. Now, if somebody would like to improve their voice, they should probably consult a voice teacher. Like, is there?
Lessons. Yeah, if you think, you know,
like do most colleges even have voice anything, or is that a special? I don't know, so I'm asking.
There are a lot of a specific, you know, in college, a lot of colleges, especially like music colleges or schools that are known for music, they have vocal performance, and that, you know, in vocal performance, there's a couple of voice teachers, but you really gotta kind of look for them. You know, search the internet, search Facebook.
Craigslist,
No, use whatever tools you have at your disposal to try and find someone. Because, yeah, I was lucky because my voice teacher was someone who went to my church, and then she was all of a sudden my choir teacher in middle school. And then I was just like, hey, dude, you want to continue training me? And she was like, sure. And once I got out of high school, she's like, you don't need me anymore. I was like, okay, cool.
Get out. You don't know.
Yeah, I was like, all right, peace.
All right. Now, people that would like to follow you, do you do social media?
I do. I have a Twitter and an Instagram. My Twitter is Doc Jordyn, DocJordyn.
Jordan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Doc was my first dog.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That was a time. And then my Instagram, I believe, is Jordyn_Lander.
So I'm assuming probably more of a better chance finding you on Twitter.
Yes, most definitely.
Awesome.
Or YouTube. I'm also on YouTube. Jordyn Lander.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Very, very fun time.
Yeah.
All right, so that was my interview with Jordyn Lander. I told you guys that I was pretty bad at it, but, you know, I'll get better. I promise. Really, I do. No, but seriously, though, it was a lot of fun. Thank you, Jordyn, for having joined us. I truly, really appreciate it. You know, I know that going to a podcast that is just starting up, it's kind of weird because you have nothing to compare it to. You know, you have no idea what the podcast is really going to be like. So I really appreciate that you trusted me with that. And, you know, I certainly, like I said earlier, I hope to see her doing more stuff. You know, she mentioned she wants to make a career out of singing, and I definitely think that she has the talent to make it happen. But like we mentioned also, you know, a lot of times it's very difficult because nowadays there is a lot of other people without talents using technology to make it happen. But hey, we got to have hope, right? We got to have hope, and we have to help each other out. So yeah, that was episode 2. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a review on iTunes. Also, send me a message. You know, you can contact me at contact@prolificcreator.com, or you can send me messages on Twitter or Instagram @StuffNetworks. And again, for Jordyn, her Twitter is DocJordyn. Her Instagram is Jordyn Lander. And then her YouTube page. There's a link in the description of the podcast. And yeah, that's all I have. I will see you guys next week when we have another interview with somebody else. All right. Yo, take care. Again, Jordyn, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Yo, take care. Bye.